Hello students of grade 9, welcome to another English lesson. I am Miss Lydia Tony, and today we are continuing to look at letter writing. We're looking at the letter of complaint. Now before we get into it, could you think of some reasons why you would want to complain? Okay, let's do a quick review of the letter format. Now this is the formal letter and this is the indented style. Of course, you will have your address at the top right hand, followed by the date just below. Then on the left hand, you will have the recipient's address, followed by the salutation or the greeting. And then you have your body, which can be done in 3 paragraphs or less or more, depending. Followed by your closure and signature. So when is it appropriate to write a letter of complaint? If you are ever frustrated or dissatisfied with poor service, have received a defective product, or experience unfair treatment, you can make a complaint. Your complaint can be done orally or in writing by way of a formal letter of complaint. The tone of the letter of complaint. Now, although you're complaining, there are some do's and don'ts. So, it would not be ethical at all for you to go and abuse down. You have to do it in a proper manner and be professional. When writing a letter of complaint, ensure that it is written in a clear and formal tone. All inconveniences suffered by the complainant should be clearly and logically expressed. Strong language may be used. However, avoid abuses, threats, insults, angry, hostile, and sarcastic tones. Using tones that reflect tact, courtesy, and emotional intelligence will more likely aid you in getting the specific action that you seek. Now, if you were to go about abusing and threatening the person that offended you, what do you think will most likely happen? They might ask the security to escort you out. Or you might find yourself being given a lawsuit or something, depending. So the question is asked, can I make allegations or demand settlement? Of course. But remember that any allegation made must be supported by proof or evidence. If the nature of the complaint, settlement through compensation, include the cost in your letter. So you don't just go about making wild accusations. You have to be able to support it, or else you could find yourself on the other side of the law. Structure of the letter of complaint. Now first, you have to state the purpose of the letter. Begin with a detailed description of the product or service. So after you've stated the purpose, whether it is to complain about a bad product or about a bad service, you then go into a little bit of description of what exactly is the matter. State what is wrong with the service or product. Indicate precisely how the problem should be corrected. So you're allowed to suggest ways in which you think your problem can be remedied. Ask for prompt handling of the claim. Briefly describe the inconvenience you have suffered. Now, remember, if you don't give these people a timeline, it's likely that they will just push your letter under the desk and forget about you. And with these sort of letters, you have to follow up on it, right? So if you ever have to write a letter of complaint or orally register a complaint, just make sure you follow up on it. Language structure of the letter of complaint. In the introduction, you can start with, I'm writing because, to draw your attention to, or we regret having to report. Now, in the complaint of itself, you can start by saying, I must complain about, I feel something ought to be done or said about, or it is time that. And in your resolution, at the closing of your letter, you can say, I expect to be compensated for the inconvenience Or, I look forward to a prompt response or a full explanation. Or, I expect better service from. And there are other ways, but these are just a few. Here's an example of a letter of complaint to a company for goods not delivered. So you see there is the address of the person that is writing it, followed by the date on the top right hand, and then on the left hand you have the address of the recipient. So it goes on to say, "Dear sir, we wish to inform you that the goods for which we placed an order with your firm since January 2020 have not yet arrived. As a result of this, we are unable to supply our customers who had placed their orders long in advance. Some of them have since embarked on projects which require material immediately. Please inform us of the reason for the delay and also when you will be in a position to dispatch our order. Yours faithfully, Robert Dobson." Here we have the person complaining about goods which they had ordered since way in advance, but to date it hasn't arrived, and they talk about how it has affected their customers. So although this is a huge setback for them, they're still very formal and their tone is still very soft. It really doesn't show that they are upset to the extent of filing a lawsuit or anything of the sort as yet, but yet still they're concerned enough to ask for an explanation. They're not jumping down on the person to say, okay, why my goods isn't here as yet and so on. They're asking, they're giving the person a chance to explain themselves. So this is just one example of how you can go about writing your letter of complaint. Now, in conclusion, I just would like for you to remember that the purpose of the letter of complaint can either be to complain about unsatisfactory service or unsatisfactory treatment. It can be formal or social. The tone should not be hostile, although strong language may be used. And you should express your complaint clearly and the action you want to be taken. Back any allegations that you make with evidence or proof. Here's an activity for you to do. Write a letter of complaint on one of the following topics. You can either write about fast food of poor quality. So maybe you went to one of those fast food restaurants, but you didn't like the food. So you write in to complain about that. Or discourteous service you received from a sales representative of a company. So maybe you've had an experience where you went to some company and the sales representative was very discourteous. So you're upset and you want the management to know about it. So you write. Now, just in case you would like to read up a bit more on this topic, you can find additional information in English for All Examinations Level, CSEC by Roy Narayan Singh with Bades Sitahal Maraj. Or you can check a comprehensive English course, CXE English A by Uriel Narayan Singh and Clifford Narayan Singh. You can also get additional information from the website https://www.teachitprimary.co.uk/. This concludes our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will leave you with a quote by Colin Powell, and it says, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." So, as you gear up towards a bright future, just keep these words in mind. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.